We are back and we have another strategy for you, and it is connect how and when you can. This one's tied to the one we did right before the break, whereas we were talking about being honest about your situation, resist the shame, but also in that time of me being a little depressed, if you will, about my situation and feeling like, I didn't want to be a burden on anyone else. I didn't want to ask them to, pay for my meal or anything. So I just kind of stayed at home and salt, wallowed, and all that self pity parties and all that good stuff, right? Um, but connect it how and when you can. Don't let your relationships die, the genuine ones, the good ones, because just like there's some that need to be pruned and need to go, we've talked about that at abundance. There are relationships that need to be nurtured and that will last the entire journey of sheltering in place, having to stay at home, being supernaturally pulled away from the world, if you will, and being sequestered. And so connect when you can, make the effort where it's reciprocal, where a person, if they reach out, you reach out. Don't ignore them. If you reach out and they respond, where there is a genuine, I have a friend, and it seems like almost every day, but it's not. She asked me, hey, you want to go walking? And sometimes I'm busy, I'm actually doing things. And so I'm obligated with my time, I'm not always available, but I make an effort to always provide her the actual true reason and to still reach out and have some form of a conversation and to connect. So you don't want to use this period of time of sequestering to sequester. And what I mean by that is one of the taglines I think they say is stay at home together. So it's indicating, it's implying that we're in this together. We're all going through this together. The uniqueness in our situation is we weren't going through this with other people. Sure, there may be somebody that we would run into that seemed like they had a similar situation going on, but it wasn't the whole world. The whole world is being sequestered at this point. And so you have people who will understand your situation and are sequestered just the same. And so find those unique ways to be able to connect with them. Pick up the phone, write them an email, connect with them online and social media. In today's world, we have no reason not to connect with those in which we love and care for. And with the deaths that are happening around us, it is a very sobering and very sad truth and reality that life is not promised. The next day is not promised. And so since that is the case, you want to make sure that you carpe diem, that you take advantage of the moment that is before you and really pursue your relationships with the love that you have in your heart, since you have no regrets on the other side. Did you have anything you wanted to share on that particular strategy?
I don't think I can add anything at this point.
Because I did such a good job.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so the next one is the next one is to expect growth and gain, and also to prepare for losses and letdowns. To expect growth and gains, GG, and to expect losses, double L, and letdowns. And what do we mean by that? You during this season are going to learn a lot about yourself, and you're going to grow. You're going to mature in ways that you didn't even know you needed to mature in. I see people writing on social media all the time. It's like, I learned something about myself today. And sometimes that's when you learn. When your back is up against the wall and you have to really find out what's within you, that's when you learn. Expect that you're going to have growth. Expect that you're going to have gains. Also prepare for losses and letdowns. I'm not going to tell you to expect them, but I'm asking you to prepare for them. To prepare for you might not have that job you had before this happened, before you were sequestered, before you were pulled out. You might not have that same job. So there might be a loss, and that is a loss. And allow yourself to grieve naturally. Don't go overboard with it. Don't get there and stay there, but to go through the process, and grief is a part of the process. You don't have to deny yourself of that part of it, but and expect the letdowns, expect some no's. You're not always going to get a yes, and that's okay. But if you don't ask, you don't know if you're going to get that no or if you're going to get that yes. So there's some mistakes that I made along the way, and call it pride, call it shame, call it whatever you want to call it. There were some times where I probably should have spoken up and asked, and he's good for asking. He's real good. I should learn by watching him because he does a really good job of being able to lean in, and to count on those that are in his, the very small number of people that are in his circle. He does an amazing job at that, and me not so much. It's a growth area, but I have grown in it. I have grown into at least speak my truth and let the cards fall where they may, versus holding my truth to myself. So expect the growth and the gains, and also prepare for losses and letdown. What do you have to say on that one?
One of the things that um, I've witnessed about my walk, and she's also witnessed about the walk that God has me with a particular uh, intellectual property that He's given me. Here's not the platform to get into that. Is that I thought it was going to be this big in a box. Okay.
When he met me, it was this big and in a box.
No, actually,
No, it was bigger.
When I met you, was, you know,
it was a little bigger.
Yeah,
but it was still in a box.
It was, you know,
it had containment.
Right. It was the size of a microwave oven.
Versus a ring box.
Right. Versus a ring box.
Now
it's a few city blocks. Okay.
Huge.
I don't get overwhelmed or stunned or stumped often. Okay. And I praise God for that. He's given me an amazing capacity to absorb and keep moving. There are certain days where I sit down and look at what He's given me, and it just kind of stuns me for a second. Be prepared for the Lord to expand your territory that way. He has that plan for everyone. It's just whether you walk it out with Him or not, whether you believe that applies to you or not, and whether you can ignore the detractors and fight through the fears and get past the no's and get past the, oh, that ain't never gonna work, or who do you think you are trying to do something? That's for somebody else. Well, if you can get through those things and just trust in what the Lord has for you, like I said in the other video, Jeremiah 29:11, if you believe that He has greatness for you and you rely on Him, He'll bring greatness to you. Just remember one thing. When He does, do not fall into the oxymoron trap of calling yourself a self-made Christian. That's an oxymoron. You can't be both. Either you're a Christian or you're self-made, but you're not both. Okay? If He brought you there, He made you. He brought you there. Always acknowledge Him. Always be grateful. And always encourage others, because we're sharing our experiences with you so that you can be encouraged to take that class. You know, I always tell her, you know, we're enrolled in HSU, which is Holy Spirit University. Now, some of us started taking some classes before others. Some people are just enrolling. Trust me, you never graduate because you never know everything that He has for you. It's an impossibility. You're human. It's God. It's not going to happen. But you will take advanced classes. Go with it. They're not all easy. They're not all hard. Some of them are fun. Some of them will really test you. But they're all worth it. And I just want to make sure everybody understands HSU is a great place to be enrolled.
And also in that whole process, the next strategy is to expect lessons and learning. And I think the best way that I can explain it is what I ended up doing for a large portion of the 7 years, is I would write each day. At the end of the day, I would reflect and say, what did I learn? And it would be like life lessons. And some of them I even published out on social media, and I have a lot more that are just in some journals and some books waiting for their opportunity to be shared with the world. But look at, as you go through each day, I would challenge you, I would exhort to you to write down and document, journal, get you a tablet and journal out, what did you learn today? What was a new situation? What was a lesson that was presented to you? Good, bad, or ugly, or sometimes good, bad, or indifferent. But what kind of lesson did you learn? What did you take away from that day that you didn't know on the front side, but you now know on the back side? Or that you have a different paradigm, or you have a different understanding, or you just have an understanding. So expect the lessons and expect the learnings to come from every single thing. You turn on the TV and you might see a commercial, you might learn something from that. You go on social media, you see what someone's saying, and you see how people respond to it. You might learn something from that. You engage with your spouse and you have a conversation. You learn something from that. Friends, same thing. Working on a project, same thing. Going outside and seeing something in nature. I know I'm on a roll. He's looking at me like, wow, you will learn things and just expect and look for it and then document it so that you can remember what you've learned in this season. Do you have anything you want to share about that?
Just something brief. She had talked about learning from your environment. One of the things that I do is I look for scripture in everything that I see on TV, everything I see in movies. I was talking to my aunt, who's also a pastor, and I was surprised that she actually saw Pulp Fiction like I saw Pulp Fiction, uncut. And so we started talking about the biblical lessons that were in Pulp Fiction.
What? That's where the record scratches at the house party. Like, did you say biblical lessons in Pulp Fiction?
Right.
He said biblical lessons in Pulp Fiction.
Biblical lessons in Pulp Fiction. Give you a prime example. Vincent, the character, John Travolta's character,
not him,
not me, Vincent Vega, didn't believe that the miracle that happened in the apartment was a miracle. It was a freak occurrence. I promise you, when he saw Butch in his apartment and he's facing another shooting, he was praying, okay, Lord, I could use another one of those miracles. Jules, on the other hand, immediately recognized that it was a miracle and changed his life. But if you also notice at the end of the movie, that change was tested when they were in the diner. He had the opportunity to kill those two, and he said, you caught me in the transition, which means he had committed to walk the way of God. Those are just some of the things that I've noticed. If you have ears to hear and eyes to see spiritually, you will find things like that all around you all the time. Okay? You're watching a lot of these movies about zombie apocalypse and stuff like that, and you see these demonic shows on TV that is entertainment. No, it's programming. No, it's getting you open to a whole demonic kingdom that you don't want.
They don't call it programming for nothing.
Okay. Just keep in mind, and some people say it's not that deep. Oh, but it is. And you have to make the choice whether you see it or not. Okay? I'm just saying that if you look, you'll find it. That's all I can say right now.
And with that, we will be back. One more break.